Today I'm making another one of the Roman classics, and it's pasta all'amatriciana, and this dish clocks in at 830 calories per portion, 28 grams of proteins, 83 grams of carbs and 43 grams of fat. And to make this, we're gonna start off by frying some guanciale, which is pork cheek, and we don't need any fat or anything because guanciale is mostly fat. You can do it in a cold pan and heat it up eventually, and all that fat will render out, and that's what's gonna create our main flavor later on. So what I like to do is fry that until it becomes very crispy, and also start boiling some water. I'm using bucatini for this, but you can do any pasta you like. And when I cook bucatini, I usually do a large pot because they're a bit more firm than ordinary pasta, so they take longer to bend in, so a lot of salt. And once our guanciale is crispy, we're gonna remove those. You can keep them in, but that means that they're gonna become quite soggy, so I like to remove them and add them later on. And once we're removing our guanciale, we should lower the heat in our pan, because now we're gonna pour in some white wine. And if you keep a very hot pan, you're gonna have a lot of smoke, and that usually means my fire alarm will set off. Just lower the heat for a minute or two and it will reduce the amount of smoke. And then we're simply gonna add the wine and let that reduce. And that means we can turn the heat back up again, and we're gonna deglaze our pan with our white wine. And then we want to reduce our wine until there's basically not much left at all. This is not traditional, but I like to add some chili flakes to this. I think that elevates the dish a lot, but you can do traditionally that's not done at all. And then it's time to cook our pasta. We're gonna go for 100 grams of bucatini today. And once they're soft enough, just fold those in the water. And once our wine has reduced as well, we want to lower the heat again, because now we're gonna add our tomato, or tomato passato, or pomodoro passato. And same thing here, if you have a very hot pan, you're gonna have splattered tomato all over your kitchen. So it's a good idea to lower the heat a minute before you actually add this. And then what we want to do is we want to just reduce this as well. So heat back up and keep stirring, otherwise when tomato balls it's also going to splatter all over your kitchen. And we want to reduce this until you basically can draw a line through it without it collapsing on itself. And then we're going to add some pepper and salt if you need. And then we're gonna add our bucatini. As always, when we add cheese to our pasta dishes, we want to lower the temperature and let it cool down a bit before we actually add the cheese. So turn off the temperature, you can even remove it from the stove and let it sit for 30 seconds to a minute. And then we're going to add 20 grams of Pecorino Romano. And just stir that in. And a good way to incorporate your cheese and sauce is to toss it in the pan. However, we're using tomato here, that means that you might get some splatter in your kitchen, but it's a really good way to incorporate the cheese in the sauce. And once we've done that, that's it. Now all we need to do is just put this in a plate and add our sauce, add our guanciale, and that means we're done. So, I hope you try this, and if you do, I hope you enjoy. Thanks for watching.